she take a step and her feet went out in front of her? Did she tumble forward? What did you see?
Next question.
This man was hiking with his fiance when she fell 100 feet off a cliff to her death. Some consider Rhonda Castro's death a tragic accident, while others suspect cold-blooded murder. Strange and suspicious details began to emerge after Rhonda's death that led to her fiance's arrest.
She said he's either going to give me a ring or he's going to throw me off a cliff.
This is the story of the mystery at Eagle Creek.
I'm Steve Nichols, and in February of 2015, I was charged and arrested for the murder of Rhonda Casto, my fiance.
It was years after Rhonda's death that Stephen was arrested. Rhonda's family say her death was no accident. Stephen was an evil and manipulative man who had pushed her.
She said that he's either going to propose to me or kill me.
Steve maintains that the relationship was going well. The couple were happy and looking forward to their wedding.
So when Stephen is telling us that they were planning their future together and everything was great and it was a lovey-dovey relationship, is he lying to me?
He's absolutely lying to you.
Rhonda's family claimed that physical fights had started to occur and that Steve had become abusive and manipulative.
She wasn't happy. She just fell out of love with him and they were fighting all the time. She had mentioned wanting to take the baby and leave Steve.
A few months before Rhonda's death, Steve had increased her life insurance policy to $1 million. While this was suspicious, police had no actual evidence to prove that Steve pushed his fiancée off the cliff.
Nichols says Rhonda was depressed and, shockingly, that she had tried to take her own life at least 3 times before he even met her.
He also claims that Rhonda had struggled all of her adult life with drug addiction. Her autopsy showed traces of marijuana and prescription drugs used to treat anxiety and depression in her system. Nichols said that she had a history of hard drug use, including meth and heroin, but no traces were found in her system at the time of death.
She's never been off drugs since the age of 12.
Nichols, however, made no suggestion of suicide to police at the time of Rhonda's death and refused to discuss the exact details of Rhonda's fall.
What you're saying is she jumped.
He said that he didn't mention suicide to the police as the life insurance policy would not have been paid out, leaving their daughter with nothing.
I think Steve is just throwing all these ideas out to throw people off the fact that he pushed her.
As police began to investigate further, they uncovered shocking details about Steve's past and a potential motive that led to his arrest. Not long before Rhonda's death, she had uncovered an affair between Nichols and her own sister Melanie, who was just 16.
Do you believe that Stephen was in love with Melanie?
Yes, I do.
Melanie claims that she was only 15 the first time she and Steve had sex.
You agreed to plead guilty to 2 counts of sexual abuse with Melanie Casto. And you signed your name under this statement. I had sexual intercourse with Melanie Casto twice.
He denies the affair ever took place, saying that he only signed this as a plea deal to stay out of prison to be with his daughter, despite him now having to be registered as a sex offender. When Rhonda found out about the affair, she sent her younger sister this text.
I don't know what to say besides he's a piece of He used you to hurt me. I won't let him screw us up again. When you need me, I am waiting.
Nichols, who was 34 at the time, was also charged with 5 counts of sexual abuse for touching a 13-year-old on the buttocks 6 months after Rhonda's death. He claimed that that didn't happen, but did admit to sending sexually suggestive texts and a selfie with his shirt off to the girl.
You sent sexually suggestive texts to her and a selfie with your shirt off. And you agreed to a plea deal in this case.
Yeah, that was definitely, I was in the wrong on that one, in terms of sending the photo.
Police began to look into the relationship Nichols was having with Rhonda's sister as an additional motive. As well as the $1 million, he would also have a chance to swap his loveless relationship for a new one with Melanie.
He told Melanie that she was a dead ringer for her sister and that the baby would forget her mother within just a matter of a short time, and that they could be a family, the 3 of them.
Police also discovered that Stephen had had another wife in the past who had accused him of attempted murder.
In November 2003, Stephen was still married to his ex, an American woman, and living in China for the first time when his spouse accused him of trying to suffocate her and throw her over the railing of their 8th floor apartment.
He was arrested in 2015 for suspicion of his fiance's murder.
To that charge, what's your plea?
Not guilty.
He spent the next 14 months in jail awaiting trial.
I try to just take it one day at a time. I read a lot, I play chess, but really when it comes down to it, I miss my daughter, so that's the hardest part.
The trial was due to begin in 2018. Despite his past, however, prosecutors knew that they lacked sufficient evidence to find Stephen guilty of murder. Instead, they were forced to offer him a plea deal. He pleaded guilty to criminally negligent homicide and coercion in May of 2017, but received no jail time.
Guilty.
Nichols was only on probation for 3 years before going free. He also pleaded guilty to sexual harassment in the other case against the 13-year-old girl. Stephen has since also lost all custody of his child. Despite walking free, he remains a registered sex offender. Did Stephen Nichols kill Rhonda Castro? Did she kill herself? Or was her death a tragic accident? We may never know the truth. Thanks for watching this episode of Crime 101. Be sure to subscribe for more if you enjoyed it.